Welcome back friends, part 2 Dark Truth of Ayurveda series. There is a pattern that most people never notice. Health is usually ignored until it is lost. Energy is taken for granted until exhaustion becomes normal. Sleep is sacrificed until the mind refuses to rest. Digestion is neglected until the body starts reacting. And then begins the search for solutions. Quick ones, easy ones, immediate ones. But what if the real problem is not the lack of solutions, but the way problems are approached? Ayurveda looks at this differently. It does not begin with disease. It begins much earlier, at imbalance. Before the body breaks down, it gives signals. Subtle ones, low energy, irregular appetite, disturbed sleep, mood fluctuations. These are not random. They are indicators, but in most cases, they are ignored, because they are not serious enough. This is where the gap begins to grow. Modern lifestyles are built in a way that disconnects people from these signals. Constant stimulation, irregular routines, and high stress levels create noise. And in that noise, the body's voice becomes harder to hear. Ayurveda, at its core, is about reducing that noise. Not by isolating yourself from the world, but by becoming more aware within it. It introduces the idea that the body operates on rhythms. Daily rhythms, seasonal rhythms, even emotional rhythms. When these rhythms are respected, the body functions smoothly. When they are constantly disrupted, imbalance begins to accumulate, and accumulation is slow. That is why the effects are not immediate. A single late night does not cause damage. A single unhealthy meal does not create disease, but repetition does. Small imbalances, repeated over time, become large problems. This is not dramatic, it is gradual, and that is exactly why it is dangerous. Because gradual problems are easy to ignore. Ayurveda focuses on stopping that accumulation early, not through extreme actions, but through consistent, simple practices. Waking up at a regular time. Eating in a structured way, allowing the body to rest properly, maintaining mental clarity. These are not complicated ideas, but they require effort, and effort is often replaced with convenience. Convenience is one of the defining features of modern life. Food is available instantly, entertainment is constant, work never truly stops. Everything is designed to remove friction, but health does not always improve when friction is removed. Sometimes, a certain level of discipline is necessary. Ayurveda introduces the discipline, not as a restriction, but as a structure that supports long-term well-being. This is where another misunderstanding appears. Many people think Ayurveda is about adding more things to life, more routines, more rules, more restrictions. But in reality, it often simplifies. It removes excess stimulation, excess consumption, excess irregularity, and in that simplicity, the body begins to stabilize. One of the most important aspects it emphasizes is digestion. Not just what you eat, but how your body processes it. Two people can eat the same food, and have completely different outcomes. One feels energized, the other feels heavy. Ayurveda focuses on that difference. It studies the internal capacity of the body, not just the external input. Because health is not only about intake, it is about processing. When digestion is strong, the body uses nutrients efficiently. When it is weak, even good food can create problems. This idea is now becoming more widely discussed, but it has always been central to Ayurveda. Another area it addresses deeply is the mind. Modern discussions often separate physical health from mental health. Ayurveda does not. It sees them as interconnected. Stress affects digestion. Sleep affects mood. Emotions affect energy levels. Nothing operates in isolation. This interconnected view makes the system more complex, but also more complete. It does not treat parts. It observes the whole. In a performance-driven world, this becomes extremely relevant. People are constantly trying to optimize output. Better focus, more productivity, higher efficiency, but optimization without balance leads to burnout. and burnout is becoming increasingly common. Ayurveda approaches performance from a different angle. Instead of asking how to extract more from the body, it asks how to support the body better, because a supported system naturally performs well. This shift in perspective is subtle, but powerful. It moves the focus from pushing limits to building capacity, and capacity lasts longer than pressure. Another important aspect is sustainability. Short-term improvements are easy to achieve. Long-term stability is not. Ayurveda prioritizes sustainability. It avoids extremes, extreme diets, extreme routines, extreme restrictions, because extremes are difficult to maintain, and anything that cannot be maintained eventually fails. Instead, it focuses on balance. Balance in food, balance in activity, balance in rest. Not perfect balance, but functional balance. Something that adapts to real life. This adaptability is important, because no system can work if it does not fit into daily life. Ayurveda is often seen as rigid, but in reality, it is flexible within its principles. It allows adjustments based on individual needs, environments, and conditions. But that flexibility requires understanding, and understanding requires time. This brings us back to the central challenge. Time is something most people feel they do not have, and anything that requires time is often postponed. Health becomes a secondary priority, until it becomes unavoidable. At that point, the approach becomes reactive, trying to fix problems after they have fully developed. Ayurveda encourages a proactive approach, maintaining health before problems arise. This may not seem urgent, but it is important, because prevention does not create dramatic moments. There are no visible crises being avoided, no clear before and after, just steady stability, and stability can feel invisible, but its absence is very visible. Another reason Ayurveda is not widely adopted in its true form is inconsistency. People try it for short periods, expect quick results, and then stop. But this system is not designed for short-term trials. It is designed for long-term integration. Its effects compound over time, like small investments that grow slowly, but significantly. This makes patience essential. Without patience, the system appears ineffective. With patience, its value becomes clear. At a deeper level, Ayurveda is not just about physical health. It is about awareness. Awareness of habits, awareness of patterns, awareness of cause and effect. It teaches that actions have consequences, even if those consequences are delayed. And understanding that delay is important, because not all results are immediate. Some take time to appear, and by the time they do, the original cause is often forgotten. Ayurveda tries to reconnect that cause and effect relationship, so that people can make more informed choices, not out of fear, but out of understanding. This approach may seem simple, but applying it consistently is not, because it goes against many modern habits. Irregular schedules, overstimulation, constant multitasking. These patterns are deeply ingrained. Changing them requires intention, and intention requires awareness, which brings everything back to the same point. Awareness is the starting point. Without it, no system can work. With it, even small changes can create meaningful impact. Ayurveda does not offer shortcuts. It offers direction. It does not guarantee perfection. It encourages improvement, and it does not demand drastic changes overnight. It supports gradual shifts. This may not be exciting, but it is effective, because real change is rarely dramatic. It is usually quiet, slow, steady, consistent, and over time, that consistency builds something strong, something stable, something that does not collapse under pressure. In the end, the value of Ayurveda is not in how quickly it works, but in how deeply it supports. It does not replace modern systems. It complements them. It fills the gaps that fast solutions often leave behind. And those gaps are where long-term health is shaped. The choice, again, is not complicated. Ignore the signals and react later, or understand the signals and act earlier. Both paths exist, but only one leads to stability. And stability is what most people are actually looking for, even if they do not realize it yet. Thank you everyone for listening. Subscribe it.